everybody, and welcome to Be in the Know. This is the first Be in the Know of 2021, and man, I've got an exciting guest tonight. I mean, just over the top, right? I mean, when you're a table games guy like me, you dream about being Paul Mollo. Yes, that's my guest tonight, Paul Mollo. Now, Paul has run some of the biggest operations. I mean, this is stuff I'm telling you, people stay up at night, Paul, thinking about being you, running you. It's second nature to you, which is, these guys that are going to watch this, they're going to say, wow, that's Paul Mollo. Yeah, that's what they don't know you like I know you. Okay, but anyway, getting back to you've run some of the biggest operations, and we're going to talk about from the East Coast to the West Coast to Atlantic City, and we're going to talk about a lot of things tonight, man. Paul, welcome to Be in the Know.
Thanks, man. Glad to be here.
So, Paul, what I always start off with is I try to give the audience a little bit of background on, how this all started. We all got our stories about how we got in this crazy business, and God, it's like being in the mafia. I think there's only one way out. But anyway, how did you get into table games?
You know what? It's a long story, but I'll make it a short story. I was actually summer of 1980. I was a chef. I was only 20 years old. I was working underage in a lot of restaurants. Don't tell anybody. I don't want to get in trouble. It was a million years ago. No. Anyway, so I was working as a chef. I was a sous chef at a Hilton, a really nice Hilton. We had actually 2 kitchens, and it had the best equipment. And the VP of Food and Beverage walks by, and one day I said, "Hey, hello, Mr. Nellis," and nice guy, I thought. And next day I walk in the chef's office, and I got a write-up. And he says, "Hey, man, I got bad news. I got to write you up." I go, "Well, what do you write me up for?" He goes, "Well, I got to write you up. You're not wearing a hat." I go, "Well, chef, we don't have hats. I mean, why you write me up?" He goes, "I know we don't have hats. We're going to order them, but." So I'm thinking to myself, this is crazy. I mean, I work 14 hours a day in this place. I'm, putting my life blood into it. I was really putting a lot of effort to it. And I said, I just don't get it. You're writing me up for not wearing a hat? And we don't have hats? I go, this is crazy. So he goes, I know. He goes, just sign it and forget it. He goes, it'll go in your file. So anyway, I go home that night. I said, well, let me think about it overnight, and I'll hit you up tomorrow whether I'm going to sign this thing or not. So I go home, and I'm the youngest. My sister's the oldest, and she used to work for the New Jersey Unemployment. And she's at the, she was such a hard worker, never give up on a job, that kind of thing. She was just really hardcore, old school, just keep working, work. So she's at the kitchen table. She's working on some documents for unemployment. And I go, Marge, I got a question for you. I got this thing at work. I got written up for not wearing a hat, but we don't have hats. And I tell her the whole story. And I go, I just need your advice. Should I sign this thing and forget it? And that's what I thought she would say. Just sign it, forget it, get back to work, No, she says, no, I want you to go in. If you're asking my advice, go in tomorrow and quit. And I go, quit? She goes, yeah, quit. Just go in and quit. I go, well, you're the one that, always work hard. Don't give up on a job. No, go in and quit. And she goes, and you're a math whiz. You want to work someplace fun? Here. She pulls out this information from unemployment. She throws it at me. She goes, they got this dealer school in Atlantic City. Why don't you go down and apply? You got to take a math test. You got to do these other tests, but then you can get into the school. It was really tough back then to get into school. So I said, all right. So the next day I go in and I quit. The chef is like, oh my God, you quit. I got nobody to replace you. I said, hey man, not wearing a hat. Sorry. Go down to Atlantic City and I apply at the dealing school. I take a math test and bang, I'm in dealing school that next Monday, and the rest is history, man. It was just a wild ride. I mean, Atlantic City in 1980. Oof. I think about that. I mean, sorry, not to cut you off, but there was only 2 jurisdictions. You had Nevada and you had Atlantic City, New Jersey. I mean, we were within a 3-hour drive of 1/4 of the population of the United States, and it was just mobbed.
So what properties did you work in Atlantic City?
Well, I opened up Harrah's 1980, and we were the 5th casino to open. And then we were a lot of us were going to transfer to what was then called Harrah's Boardwalk, in 1984, but it turned out to be Harrah's at Trump Plaza, then Trump Plaza. But I transferred over to there, and in 2002, I got a call from a good friend of mine, Jim Riggett, up in Foxwoods, and he said, "Hey," he goes, "Bill Boyd called me." At that time, this is 2002. I'm going pretty fast through the career. I was already in administration, and I was as casino administrator. And so I get a call from Jim Riggett. He said, "Hey, I got a call from a guy named Bill Boyd." He goes, "You know who that is?" I go, "Yeah, I think I know Bill Boyd." I think a lot of people know Bill Boyd. He goes, "Yeah, he's looking for an administrator for a new project called Borgata." And he said, he asked me, and I said, I gave him your name. You're the best administrator in town. You got to get Paul. So kind of fast forward to Borgata, I quit Trump Plaza and I started on the Borgata project, which was still under construction. We were part of the development team. I was in charge of table games, poker, racebook, and credit, 4 departments. I was setting up and writing the regs and doing the compensation surveys, buying the equipment, setting up the recruitment teams, all the things that that go into a startup. But man, Borgata was just such a big property, and we needed to hire so many people, and we really wanted to do it right. I mean, it was probably my most favorite job in my life. 2002, working for Borgata, the toughest job, but my most favorite.
And actually, it turned into the biggest and the most profitable casino in the history of Atlantic City, did it not?
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, I mean, we did not have a formal database. We didn't have a database. We, at the very last minute, now MGM was our silent partner, 50/50. At the very last minute, MGM, released their database to us and said, "Hey, here's our players," but they were all Las Vegas based and really didn't help us much. And we really started with 0 customers, and we weren't cocky. We weren't, we're better than thou. We just wanted to offer the Las Vegas experience in Atlantic City, and we had a gorgeous, property, but a lot went into that gorgeous property to make it that way. But anyway, what a wild ride, and what a fun time that was.
So I remember Atlantic City, back in the early, late 80s, somewhere around there. I went there, I'd go on junkets, and they would, about 6 o'clock, they'd come around with this sign that said, "Table games going to $25." And I mean, they didn't care. Now we beg and plead and get down on our knees and please play at our place and all this. They didn't care. When that 6 o'clock hour hit, beat it. Either play $25 or beat it. Is that, am I exaggerating that?
No, we actually had signage for that. We had to do it. The Casino Control Commission mandated we had to give notice, and the marketing philosophy back then, I mean, some people would probably not like it, but was beat them over the head, take their money, and kick them out. Next, it was, we weren't. Now it's into creating the relationship, the long-term relationship, establishing credit, blah blah blah. But back then, man, it was a factory. Get them in and out. Service really wasn't.
Service was not number one when I went to Legacy.
No, it was speed, I think.
So you're in Atlantic City. You're at the biggest casino in Atlantic City. Everybody's envious of Borgata and their revenues, and all of a sudden you get a phone call to you moved on to some upstart new company that's really what happened?
Well, it was late 2007. I got a phone call from a buddy named Paul Zumacaris, who was a corporate VP of slots at Seminole Gaming. And he said, "Hey, Paul, you've done some great things up there in Atlantic City. We're going to open table games in Florida, and we're going to open up 5 or 6 casinos with table games, and we need someone to kick it off." I mean, so I said, "Well, great. What do you got?" He goes, "We got a blank sheet of paper." I go, "Well, you got to write regs. You're going to have to get a ton of personnel down there. We got a lot of equipment to purchase." And I had 4 interviews with the Seminole tribe. They flew me down 4 different times. I was taking little mini vacations in Florida, but it got down to the final interview, and they wanted to get table games open in 30 days. 30 days. Want to get table games open in 30 days. It was a big panel interview. They were firing questions at me, and I'm like, wow, 30 days. I'm like, what? So towards the end of the interview, they go, "Well, do you have any questions for us?" And I go, "Yeah, I got a few questions." I go, so you want table games open in 30 days. Is that right? And they go, yeah, 30 days, 30 days. I go, well, do you own the table games? Let's just start with that. And they go, no, we don't own them. I said, well, table games take like, I don't know, 6, 8, 10 weeks to build if you have your designer specs and you know what you want. And I said, what about cards? Have you ordered cards? No. What about chips? Have you ordered chips? No. Dice? No. Nothing. You know, I mean, have you done any compensation surveys? Do you know what to pay these people? How are you going to get, you're going to need about 850 people to work your, just at Hollywood Hard Rock. Have you done anything, any work on that? Nope, nothing. And I'm like, oh my God. I go, okay, let's talk about regs. Have you written any regs? Have you done any of that? Because there's ICS and MICS and all these things. You have to send all this stuff over to NIGC. We got to get legal. And he goes, nope, we haven't written a thing. I'm like, oh my God. I said, what about surveillance? Have they even seen a card being turned? Do they know about blackjack and mini-bach and all these other games? And they go, nope. I go, well, we're gonna have to train them. I said, and you're gonna need a soft count room that's probably 5 times the size of what you got now. I said, and we're also gonna need 850, 900 people. And I think we ended up hiring 900 people for the Hollywood Hard Rock project. So that's an extra 900 people in your building. You ready for that? And you ready for parking? You ready for uniforms? You ready for your employee dining room? I mean, and everything they said, nope, we're not ready. No, we're not ready. No, we're not ready. I said, so well, 30 days doesn't seem achievable. But I said, you're going to need a lot of love, man. I said, if you need me, let me know. You got my number. And they called me right away, made me a great offer. And I loved working for the Seminole Tribe. They were just, what a great organization. Hard Rock is such a great organization, and I got nothing bad to say. Great people.
So we went from 30 days to the largest table games operation in North America. Right? Am I right or wrong about Tampa? Tampa's off the hook, and Florida as a whole. The properties at the Hard Rock Seminole Gaming, which I work for, so be careful what you say. Anyway, they got all this. I mean, and it went from nothing. And, and I think this whole Hard Rock thing was on a whim where, hey, we're paying this licensing fee. That's, we don't want to do that no more. Why don't we just buy them? And then they got the rights to the Hard Rock name everywhere, basically now.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about, I guess, the Hard Rock organization, I guess they approached the Seminole Indians in 2002 to build, obviously beautiful hotel casinos in Hollywood and Tampa. And the Seminole Indians ended up purchasing Hard Rock, and what a great move. And I think that was all of Jim Allen that did that. And what a great guy, by the way. I've known Jim for a million years. Can't say anything bad about him.
So let me ask you this, just to give the viewers a perspective of what a normal weekend is like at Tampa. Give us the just ballpark. Now, I mean, I know you're not going to give us exact numbers, but give us a ballpark number of what you would drop in table games on a weekend.
Well, probably, on a Saturday night, we would go north of 3 million on a Saturday. I mean, sometimes approaching 5 million. Slots, I mean, they just, the numbers are crazy there, but, I think they were, close to 50 or 60 million in coin in. I mean, it's just, you're talking number one in the United States when it comes to those types of, and I'm generalizing the numbers because, again, it's not public. So I'll tell you, one way we used to judge it, I didn't even realize this term until they told me. They said, oh, we know it's busy when you can't see the carpet. And I'm like, what does that mean? And they go, yeah, when you can't tell what color the carpet is, it's busy. And I'm like, and they're like, you'll see. So Tampa was like that. It just got wall to wall. I don't know what color the carpet is. It could be crazy purple. I don't know. And it was true. It was so packed. You couldn't see the color of the carpet, man.
And besides, like having a definite monopoly on the Florida business, you guys could draw some big customers from across the sea, didn't you? I mean, like South Africa or wherever they flew in to play.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you say the whale is too big for the swimming pool, or I've said that before, which means, if you got too big of a whale, for your casino, if you got a small casino, you can't book this kind of business. And we were a very large casino, and I mean, we had a great slot product, and great table product, and we have beautiful poker room, and so we kind of dipped into the Asian play and the Asian market, and we were booking some crazy wagers. I mean, we had customers betting up to 500,000 a hand, and that's just amazing in a career to watch that. We had to develop special chips, a 250 and a $500,000 chip, and I'm not talking a plaque. I'm talking a chip, a 43 millimeter gorgeous chip, French Chaton. It's gorgeous, stunning chips with real gold in them, and I mean, beautiful. But anyway, that kind of play, to watch that for hours on it. The first time you watch 500,000 a hand, you're like, oh my God, hopefully the dealer doesn't make a mistake, and the dealers are like, all nervous. Everybody's nervous. But after watching 5 hours of it, you're like, it's just chips.
Right. It's no different. So Hard Rock wants to spread its wings. It's going beyond the Seminole Gaming. It's going out to HRI, which is Hard Rock International, owns the properties outside of Florida. And now they're going to decide to go in partnership and open a property in California, which is very important. When you break into that California market, as you know, it's a big deal. And who else but Paul Mollo goes and opens Fire Mountain. Tell us a little bit about that experience.
Well, I was opening up, actually my first position was in corporate, so that was my main job, was to open up these casinos, open up Hollywood Hard Rock, Tampa, we opened up Coconut Creek, Immokalee, Brighton came later. We also opened up the little place, Classic Casino, which is actually the first Indian gaming in the United States, the first Seminole Gaming too. But anyway, so open up all those properties, open up Canada, we had a little property up there, you remember that, up in Ottawa. And so this came up on the radar, this Sacramento project, and I thought, I think I want to throw my hat in a ring and give California a shot, and then work at Sacramento and then check the West Coast out, and we dropped into a very heavily, competitive market. It was tough. I mean, you had, you weren't creating customers. You were sorry about that. I'll get that later. I'll call her back. We had to steal market share basically, but what a great experience! Brand new Hard Rock from the dirt, right in the middle of a cornfield, on up, and it's just a beautiful property. But man, it was tough because we were in a highly competitive market. Man, it's never easy, but we did it. We did pretty well there.
So you got a break. You got a break. Unbelievable. I mean, you guys were like kind of, you finally hit your peak, whatever it was going to be, right? And you had very strong competition from Thunder Valley. And then all of a sudden COVID came along and everybody shut down, but you opened up, Thunder kind of followed with the government of California's game plan. And you guys opened up about, I think 2 weeks or something, 3 weeks beforehand. And that allowed you guys to increase your market share, and then players stayed. It looks, at least it looks now. I know you don't have a lot of access, but it looks like, the Sacramento property is doing very well. And that was a big turning point, was it not?
Yeah, I think it was more, we were the first to reopen, and we did it right, man. We had the shield, we had all the protective stuff going on. I think we really did a great job, great lengths to clean the chips and clean everything and make sure everything was spotless, including the hotel, and to keep it that way. And again, we were the first to open, so here's the only casino in that highly competitive market opening, and we just got inundated. There was literally cars 3 miles in each direction. We had to get, obviously the police involved to work on the traffic, and then we had this system of how you would get into the building, and then of course, we only allow a certain amount in, and oh my God. But what happened with that, we had a lot of players go, I didn't even know you existed. I didn't even know you were on the planet. So, that was a great, because then we got people to see our product and to enjoy the Hard Rock, and they returned. And it was a strong move. And but we were just ready to open. We knew we worked at it, and we did a great job at what protocol and what we would do to keep people safe. And I'm proud of what we did and how we reopened there.
Yeah, well, it's a great property, and but then this great opportunity showed its face. That I don't know, if I was sitting in your shoes in Sacramento, it would be a hard decision. You've lived a lifetime with the Hard Rock and the Seminole and Jim and all these guys, John, all these great people. But, Pechanga is the Mac Daddy of table games in California. Let's face reality. It's, what was done down there, your predecessor set up a monster operation, and, all dealers go for your own and all that stuff. And hell, you got a robot down there. But anyway, I said, what a great property, what a great opportunity. What was the turning point that made you consider that?
Well, I was kind of, we did it, done it, got the T-shirt with the Hard Rock in Sacramento, and it kind of got into a little bit of a dullness there. I was getting stretch marks from yawning too much, and it wasn't, challenging enough for me. I'm used to more, 150 to 200 table games, not 57. So this opportunity came up. It's the #1 casino in California, and it's a beautiful property, and just a great tribe here, and very respectful, and just they really do it right. And so this came up on the radar, and I put in for the position and interviewed several times, and it's probably one of the only jobs I ever did. Just got a job with Zoom interviews. It's just this COVID world we're in. They never met me face to face, so I mean, I can.
You're lucky about that,
right? They don't know that I'm only 5 foot tall, and no, I'm not. I'm 6 foot. But no, I'll tell you, I just looked at it as like, wow, what a beautiful property. It challenged me. I wanted to get back into running a big property like this, and Mike May was my predecessor. What a great guy. He set in place some amazing things that I'm actually just is a good jump off point for me to keep going with what he did, plus some other things we're doing, and just making it better. And I can't wait to get through this COVID era. Oh my God.
So now that you've told this whole cock and bull story about how the giant table games operation in California and all this stuff, let's talk about it. It's about the beach, isn't it, Paul? I mean, come on. I mean, there's no beach in Sacramento, and you're what, 40, 50 miles away from it?
Hell, half-hour drive, man. I'm there. Oceanside. I'll tell you, the water's cold on this side. I didn't realize the water was this cold.
It is a little cold. There's a big undertow, so be careful, all right, man? I don't want to lose you to the, underneath there, Yeah, I just thought I'd call you out on the beach, but I know how much you love that. You got a place down on, you still got your place down in Fort Lauderdale, right? Yeah,
I'm never giving that up, man. I love that place.
That'll be the end all right there on the beach in Fort Lauderdale with it.
Yeah.
Mai Tai and rip, right?
Yeah, man. A couple beers and that's it,
So what's different? Now let's talk about California and tribal gaming is tribal. It's different from regular gaming, and anybody that gets into it better get a quick lesson. Better get a quick lesson on how to adapt, because it's going to be different. It's just like people. What amazes me is and I don't know, maybe I'm over evaluating this similarity, but when people come from Las Vegas and come to the Midwest, and they just think they can bring that with them, and it's not the same. It's a whole different culture. It's a whole different way of doing business, and you've got to learn to adapt to it. Just instantly snapping your fingers and going into that world. That's why you were a prime candidate for this job, because you've already been in tribal gaming and you understand the operations. But most of the viewers here, they don't understand. Like I said, from Las Vegas to going across east of the Mississippi and some of these other jurisdictions, it's night and day, and you just can't bring it. Like in Nevada, if I want to change a layout tomorrow, I just do it. Just do it. It's over. It's it's Pie Gal one day, it's blackjack the next. Here in Ohio, I gotta send this for 14 approvals. And then it comes back. I got to prove my layout, and then it got to come back and I put it on the game. I got to prove my ICs, and then I put it on. And then somebody got to prove the layout once it's put on, and then finally, we can open up the game. That's not what happens in Las Vegas. And if you bring that Las Vegas mentality to Pennsylvania or Ohio, you're going to get run over as a table game man. You think you're good. I was so lucky that when I came out here, I had no intentions of being in the business. None at all. I was going to work at Hollywood Columbus for 6 months while my wife's contract was, she was back closing her law practice. She was taking over a business in Columbus. And once her contract hit in, I was done. I was going to train the horses, take care of the daughter. And that was my life, But I had that 6 months to just sit back as a nobody and watch how this jurisdiction operated. Wow. What a benefit that was to be able to sit there and just look through the mirror, a see-through mirror, and see what was going on before I stuck my finger in the water and got it froze off. That's what would have happened because I'm a bull in a china shop. You know me, Paul. I mean, I'm ready to rock the minute I walk in the door. So I came from I spent 12. You spent all this time in the Hard Rock Seminole organization. I spent 12 and a half years in the Hard Rock Las Vegas. I mean, we just made it happen, dude. Yo, man, hey, give me a knuckle punch and let's roll. And that's what we did. So,
I remember.
So that's the biggest lesson I would say, right? And you can tell anybody that it's just a different world when you get into the tribal, or like I said, if you move to another jurisdiction, just don't go in there as like a bull in a china shop.
No, you got to learn to adapt. You got to learn to what's hot, what's not. Adapt. And I mean, I'll tell you, what amazes me, even from Northern California to Southern California, there's a radical change. I mean, Southern California is all about these card rooms, which I don't know how they're getting away with it. They have mini Bach, they have blackjack, and it's, they were poker rooms. Now they have 60 mini Bach tables. And, and that's a class 3 table. I mean, you can put as much lipstick on that pig. I mean, that's the table. No matter how you place it, look at it, shake it, do whatever you want to do with it. It's a mini Bach table. Oh, we have a third party banker. Yeah, well, that's illegal. I don't know how they get away with it, but they do, and it's crazy, but that's this market, and it's the demographic is you get a lot of play from LA. There's a lot of Asian play. Easy Bach is like their crack. I mean, these players love Easy Bach. Now, if I was to try Easy Bach up in Northern California, I tried it and I took it out. It was just not working up there. So it, like you said, it's wherever you are, you got to learn to adapt and see what players like.
Absolutely, and this is another big mistake the novice makes, Paul. And I mean, and you know what? Talking about old, I can't get over this comment you made at the Table Games Conference. And I tell people about this all the time. I said, the one thing I remember about Paul Mollo and that Table Games Conference, he made reference to I sat box at the crucifixion when the soldiers were playing dice at Jesus' feet. But you know what? People, you learn a lot. You learn a lot in this thing. And every time I turn the corner, I learn something. But you're right. Like, when I was corporate vice president of Table Games for Jack, I run Greektown, Jack Cleveland, Jack Cincinnati. I made mention of Baltimore, but we didn't own enough of that for me to really make a difference there. But you had to go up there, these jurisdictions, and like Detroit has this bet called, I think it's called Perfect Pairs. Perfect Pairs. It's the only jurisdiction in the United States where this bet flies. It's a Huxley side bet. Nowhere else. But I'm telling you what, if I would have taken Perfect Pairs off the game, I would have lost market share. I would have lost my job instantly. I had to go in there and realize that was taboo. I couldn't screw with that. It's just like you're talking about. Easy Bach works here. You've got to understand your environment. And if you're going to try to change, you do it little by little. You take a little
dial slow.
You take a little bite, and you see if they'll eat it, right? And I think that's my main success here in Cincinnati was I tried a lot of little things, a bite at a time, you know, until they, boy, this tastes pretty good. Let me try this. And I made the customers, you know, adapt to me, but it was a slow process, you know. And but
Yeah.
if you go in there and you steamroll it doesn't matter, tribal, jurisdictional, whatever, you're going to find yourself. And a guy like you, you know, a guy like me, we understand that, and I hope we've provided a little bit of insight to the up and comers, because that's all we can do right now, Paul. Right? Is pay it
Yeah.
forward.
True. And you know what? You just said something that was kind of eye opening. It's not eye opening, but you know, you're always learning. You got to keep it fresh, and if you stop learning, you may as well just quit. You know.
Give it up.
I mean, I'm still a sponge, man. I'm still learning stuff and seeing different things each day here in this jurisdiction, and I enjoy that part. You know, I do. It's been a great career.
You know, I think for you, as it is for me, just like when I was out of the business for a year and a half training the horses, back to training the horses, you know, I got offered, you know, somebody said, well, they need somebody to run this operation in Cincinnati. I said, well, I don't want a job. I don't want the job, don't need a job. And they said, well, why don't you talk to them? I don't want to talk to them. Why would I talk to them? I don't want the job. And then I found out, you know, it's kind of, they've insinuated that I would come down and talk to these people. And I knew, you know, it's just like any junkie. I'm a junkie. And you get a little snort, you know, and then you want a little bit more. And then, you know, it goes to my crack. And so table games is my crack. And as long as I stayed away from it, I was clean, you know, and now I'm hooked again. You're hooked. You know, you talk about, you know, giving it up at some point in time, but you know what? It's hard. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's addicting. I mean, the action is addicting. It's enjoyable. It's what that's why people go to the casino, is for action. Yeah. And we, in our actions running these mammoth casinos where, you know, whatever, right?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So Paul, anything else for our viewers before we call it a day?
I think we covered it all, man. Covered it all.
Hey, I really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule. Ladies and gentlemen, Paul Mollo, Vice President of Table Games Operations at Pechanga, right? Is that your title, or I don't even know which title?
Yep.
You're just God of all. You know, God of all, west of the Mississippi. Paul Mollo is God of all. And you know what? Paul is like me. If you've got a question about something, you know, shoot him an email or something, or ask me. I'll get you in touch with him if it's got something to do with Western or tribal or something. He'll answer your question. That's what we're here for, is to pay it forward to guys like you who are watching this show and trying to learn a little bit. And you know what, Paul? Again, thank you. Thanks, Pechanga, for allowing you to come on here. And wow, it's great. We got to get together again, man. I mean, sure. Yeah, got to make it happen. All right.
Oh, yeah.
I was thinking about going to Vegas for a couple of weeks, but every time I think their cases blow up, and I don't know. You know, I don't know if I'm going. I'm not going. I don't know if I'm going. You really like to go out there, but maybe it's later on next year, hopefully.
Yeah.
Or this
I was just there 2 weeks ago. It's just weird.
And that's what I would like to see. Is, you know, I think it's really strange right now, and it's got to be something to see. So,
yeah.
Paul, Happy New Year. Happy New
Year.
Good luck to the new year. I got to come out and see the robot. I mean, you know, I'm so jealous of you and this damn robot that I hear about. Anybody that's out there, why go to YouTube and Google the Pechanga robot. If you think I'm making this stuff up, this guy's got his own robot and I got nothing. You know what?
Hey,
I really don't.
It's artificial intelligence, man. It really does have a mind of its own.
It's where it's going, man. It's where it's going.
We don't do anything.
It's going to go there in table games really quickly. You know, we're sooner or later we're going to have the holy grail, and that's bet recognition from artificial intelligence. That's my prediction. Yep. All right, man. Have a great day. Thanks for being on B&O. Everybody, somewhere down here is a subscribe button. You need to hit that thing, and you hit the bell for notifications. And we hope to see you on the next B&O. See you later. Thanks, Paul.
Thank you.